Why are the United States' top scientific minds suddenly vanishing? According to the White House, we've reached a national security breaking point. This week, the FBI was officially called in to investigate a chilling pattern. At least 10 high-level American scientists have either disappeared without a trace or died under extremely suspicious circumstances since mid-2024. The list looks like a directory of America's most classified research. It includes Monica Reza, a senior aerospace engineer and director at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, who vanished while hiking. Also Carl Gilmer, a world-renowned Caltech astrophysicist famous for tracking asteroids, and most recently, Major General Neil McCaslin, a former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory, who oversaw our most sensitive space and defense programs. But it's not just who they are, it's what they knew. These scientists held the keys to advanced rocket propulsion, nuclear weapon components, and even classified UFO research. Investigators are now looking at a terrifying possibility, that this isn't a series of coincidences, but a coordinated campaign of targeted abductions or espionage. Are these scientists being silenced? Are they being taken by hostile foreign powers? Or some former officials have suggested, did they simply possess information that someone didn't want them to share? As the White House launches a formal probe, one thing is clear. The people responsible for protecting our future are disappearing, and right now, no one can say why.
Hey guys, welcome back. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the likes and subscribes. Keep liking, subscribing, and sharing. We're going to get right into it today. Today's going to be kind of a darker episode. We're going to talk about something that's strange that's been going on lately. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but there's a lot of missing scientists in the world, and this is something I kind of wanted to get into just to kind of expose and put some light on the subject. I don't really see too much about it. I saw a couple updates. So, let's just get into it. In the last few years, something strange has been happening. Not overseas, not in spy novels, right here in the United States. Scientists, not random academics, not hobby researchers. Scientists tied to nuclear labs, aerospace programs, and classified research have been dying or disappearing. 10, then 11. Each case different. Each case isolated. Until you zoom out. And suddenly, the pattern looks too sharp to ignore. A congressman said it's too coincidental to dismiss. The FBI is investigating. The White House has been asked on camera, and the media, from CNN to the LA Times, is reporting the same thing. At least 10 scientists tied to sensitive U.S. nuclear and aerospace research have died or vanished in recent years. Tonight, we're not chasing conspiracy, we're chasing clarity. Who were these scientists? What did they work on? Who benefits from the absence, and why now? This is the vanishing point. Let's start with what we know. Not speculation, not internet threads, the confirmed cluster. 10 to 11 scientists, dead or missing, over the last 33 months. All tied to nuclear programs, aerospace research, or government science projects. These aren't random fields. These are the crown jewels of national power. Nuclear weapons, space technology, satellite systems, advanced propulsion, fusion research, national security labs. The FBI is now probing whether these cases are connected. CNN reports the same. At least 10 people tied to sensitive U.S. nuclear and aerospace research have died or disappeared, prompting federal investigations. The LA Times confirms the FBI is investigating multiple cases, including 4 from Los Angeles area. This is not fringe, this is federal. To understand the stakes, you need to understand the jobs these scientists held. Nuclear weapons programs, labs like Los Alamos, Sandia, and the Kansas City National Security Campus. These scientists handled warhead design, nuclear materials, deterrence modeling, safety systems, and classified weapons modernization. This is the most sensitive scientific work in the country. Aerospace and space technology. NASA-affiliated researchers, jet propulsion lab scientists, and private aerospace contractors. Their work included satellite systems, deep space communications, propulsion research, and missile guidance technologies. These are the people who build the eyes, ears, and the reach of the United States military. Fusion and high-energy physics. MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, National Fusion Labs, and Advanced Energy Programs fusion is the holy grail. Clean energy, infinite power, and massive geopolitical consequences. Cyber physical systems and AI for defense. Some of the missing scientists worked on AI-driven targeting, autonomous systems, secure communication, and quantum adjacent computing. These fields decides who wins the next war. Why this matters. These scientists weren't replaceable. Their expertise took 20 to 30 years to build, millions of dollars in training, security clearances, access to classified programs. When one disappears, it's not a tragedy, it's a strategic loss. Let's talk about the money. Behind every scientific breakthrough is a budget, and behind every budget is a beneficiary. The U.S. is spending hundreds of billions of dollars modernizing its nuclear arsenal. Every scientist working in this space is tied to defense contractors, national labs, classified R&D, congressional appropriations, and international treaties. If nuclear modernization slows down, certain contractors lose billions. If it speeds up, others gain billions. There we go again. Talking about that money influence inside and the kind of strings that it pulls. Space is now a military domain. Companies like, wait for it, Lockheed Martin, Northrop, Boeing, SpaceX, and RTX all have massive contracts tied to satellite warfare, missile defense, and space-based surveillance. A single scientist working on a breakthrough can shift stock prices, contract rewards, or strategic advantage. Fusion and energy. Fusion breakthroughs threaten oil markets, gas markets, and geopolitical energy leverage. If fusion becomes viable, entire industries collapse. Well, we've seen that show before. You come up with something that helps the world and they take it from you or they hide it. So, excuse me. I just worked again all night and I'm doing this. Like I said, I'm always up. I never sleep. Sorry about that. But anyways, these... the government has been known to stop people. You get steam-powered engines and they disappear. Electric cars and they disappear. Steam engines. Anything that makes it so the government is going to lose money in a giant industry, it seems to be silenced or disappears. AI scientists working on defense applications influence drone warfare, targeting systems, cyber defense, and intelligence analysis. These are trillion-dollar domains. Pressure. When you work in these fields, you're not just doing science. You're sitting at the intersection of government, military, corporations, foreign intelligence, and global competition. It's the most dangerous intersection that exists in the world. Modern issues that make these scientists targets. Why now? Why this era? Why are these disappearances happening now? Look at the world. The new Cold War, U.S.-China tensions, Russia's war in Ukraine, Iran's nuclear ambitions. Scientific talent is literally the new oil. Scientists in nuclear and aerospace fields are prime targets for recruitment, blackmail, cyber attacks, surveillance, or coercion. Domestic extremism. Scientists have been targeted for COVID research, climate science, government contracts, and deep state paranoia. That's something we might have to look into. Mental health and burnout. High clearance work is isolating, and you can't talk about your job, you can't decompress, and you can't share stress. Some cases may be suicide, accidents, crime, but the cluster is what raises the eyebrows. Foreign actors benefit when Americans distrust their institutions, their scientists, and their national labs. A cluster like this becomes a weaponized narrative. The benefactors. Let's be clear. I'm not claiming a coordinated plot. I'm asking an investigative question. Who benefits from this? Foreign governments. If a nuclear physicist disappears, a rival nation benefits. If an aerospace engineer dies, a competitor gains time. defense contractors. If a breakthrough scientist leaves a program, projects stall, budgets expand, delays justify more funding. War and uncertainty are profitable. We just went over that, how profitable war can be for some of these companies, the same companies that are involved in this exact thing here. Not the death of these people, but you know what I mean. Like, they're the ones paying for the research and working. Oh my gosh. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Anyways, like I said, they're the ones who are in the middle of all this. These big, giant private companies are the ones who are pulling the strings in everything. Information gaps create opportunities. Recruitment, disruption, counterintelligence narratives, black market, and rogue actors. Scientists with nuclear aerospace expertise are valuable targets for kidnapping, coercion, and forced collaboration. Some actors don't want power. They want the instability. Inside the federal probe, the FBI investigating the deaths and disappearances of at least 10 scientists. The White House has acknowledged the issue. Multiple agencies are reviewing the cases together. Media outlets from CNN to CBS to LA Times are reporting the same facts. This is not an internet rumor. This is a federal investigation. But here's the key. Officials say they are looking for commonalities, not claiming a conspiracy. Some cases appear to be personal disputes, accidents, mental health crisis, or crime unrelated to their work. Others remain unexplained. The question is not, is there a single mastermind? The question is, why are so many scientists in the same fields dying or disappearing in the same window of time? Here's where we land. There is no conformed plot. There's no proven assassin network. There's no official link between the cases. But there is a cluster. There's a pattern in their fields. There's a federal investigation, and there's global competition for knowledge these scientists held. The truth is probably not cinematic. It's probably not clean. It's probably not one villain. But it is dangerous. Because when people who understand nuclear weapons, space systems, fusion energy, and advanced AI start disappearing, whether by accident, crime, suicide, or something even darker, the world becomes less stable. And the question we should be asking is not who killed them, it's who loses when they're gone and who gains. Because in geopolitics, in science, and in national security, absence is a form of power. And right now, too many of the wrong people are missing. This is the article, 8 nuclear and space scientists behind America's most classified secrets have vanished or died. Inside the mystery of the missing and the dead. Between July 24, 2024 and February 2026, a sequence of disappearances and deaths involving individuals connected to sensitive U.S. nuclear, aerospace, and advanced research programs has drawn quiet but persistent attention. 8 figures ranging from a senior rocket engineer and retired Air Force general to laboratory staff and leading researchers have either vanished without a trace or died in circumstances that range from unexplained to clearly criminal. At first glance, the cases appeared to form a pattern, particularly given their proximity to high security clearance work. Yet a closer examination reveals a far more complex picture, a mix of genuine mysteries, crimes, and ambiguous death, all increasingly woven together by speculation that often moves faster than verified evidence. The chronology of events has played a major role in shaping the narrative. The sequence begins July 4th, 2024, when NASA-affiliated scientist Frank Maywald died in Los Angeles at the age of 61. Maywald had spent decades at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory working on advanced space instrumentation and planetary detection systems, including research aimed at identifying signs of life on worlds like Europa and Enceladus. His death initially drew little public scrutiny, but the absence of a disclosed cause and reports that no autopsy was conducted later raised questions. Nearly a year later, on May 4, 2025, Anthony Chavez, a former Los Alamos National laboratory employee disappeared while walking out in Mexico. Chavez has been associated with one of the United States' most sensitive research environments where work often intersects with nuclear science, national security, and classified technologies. With no phone or wallet on him and no confirmed sightings since his case quietly remained unsolved. The situation intensified. Oh, let me see here. I think this says. Let's see. I'm not sure what just happened. Let's see here. I think I got this map. I'm actually going to get a global map because apparently this is something that's going on all over the world. Anyways, the situation intensified in June 2025. On June 22nd at around 9:10 a.m., Monica Jacinto Reza, a senior aerospace engineer and former technical fellow at Aerojet Rocketdyne, vanished while hiking near Mount Waterman in California. Reza was the leading figure in advanced rocket propulsion materials, co-inventing a nickel-based super alloy used in next-generation engines, designed to reduce reliance on foreign propulsion systems. Despite an extensive search lasting until June 30th, involving helicopters, drones, and K-9 units, no trace of her was ever found. Just 4 days later, on June 26th at approximately 2:20 p.m., Melissa Casillas was last seen walking alone along State Road 518 in New Mexico. Casillas worked as an administrative professional at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, placing her within high security scientific ecosystem tied to nuclear defense research. Her disappearance stood out not only for the suddenness, but for the discovery that her phones had been left behind and wiped clean. Phone was left behind and wiped clean. Disappeared. By late 2025 and 2026, the list expanded further. Jason Thomas, who disappeared on December 12, 2025, had been serving as Assistant Director of Chemical Biology at Novartis, a senior role in pharmaceutical research involving complex biochemical systems. His body was later found on March 17, 2026, around the same time. On December 15, 2025, Nuno Lareo, director of MIT Plasma Science and Fusion Center, and a globally recognized expert in plasma physics and fusion energy, was shot and died the following day. Carl Grillmer, a Caltech astrophysicist known for his work at galactic structures, stellar streams, and asteroid tracking, was killed on February 16, 2026. Less than 2 weeks later, on February 27th, retired Air Force General William Neil McCaslin vanished without a trace. McCaslin had previously commanded the Air Force Research Laboratory and overseen advanced space and defense programs, placing him at the highest levels of U.S. military science and technology. The missing cases with no clear answers. Among all 8 individuals, 4 cases remain particularly troubling due to the complete lack of resolution. Monica Jacinto Reza's disappearance during what should have been a routine hike remains one of the most baffling. As a senior aerospace engineer deeply involved in cutting-edge propulsion systems and material science, her work at the intersection of innovation and national security, she was last seen behaving normally and yet vanished in a matter of minutes in an area that was thoroughly searched, leaving investigators with no physical evidence to follow. William McNeil McCaslin's disappearance adds another layer due to his seniority and background. As a former commander to the Air Force Research Laboratory, He had oversight of highly advanced and often classified aerospace and defense projects, leaving behind all personal devices, but taking a firearm suggests a deliberate decision. Yet no trace of his movements has been uncovered despite extensive search efforts. His profile makes his disappearance one of the most sensitive in the list. Oh, wow. Anthony Chavez's case is quieter, but no less unresolved. As a former employee of Los Alamos National Laboratory, he had part of an institution historically central to nuclear weapons development and national security research. His disappearance shares similarities with others, particularly the absence of personal items and lack of any subsequent sightings or evidence, reinforcing the sense that some of these cases, while different on the surface, may share deeper unanswered questions. Not all cases involve disappearance, but some deaths remain difficult to fully contextualize. Frank Maywald's passing in 2024 continues to draw attention due to the lack of publicly available details. His recent work on technologies aimed at detecting life beyond Earth adds an additional layer of intrigue, even though no evidence suggests foul play. Jason Thomas's case, while officially not considered suspicious, still contributes to the broader narrative. His disappearance and later recovery from a lake, combined with known personal struggles, present a tragic but largely explained scenario. However, its timing, alongside other incidences, had led to an inclusion in the wider discussions. In contrast, some observers argue that dismissing these cases as isolated incidents may overlook deeper patterns. They suggest that even events with apparent personal motives do not necessarily rule out broader connections, particularly when individuals are linked to sensitive scientific or defense work. According to this view, the convergence of timelines, professional backgrounds, and unusual circumstances raises questions that cannot be fully explained by coincidence alone. Supporters of this perspective also point to the limited public information in several cases, arguing that gaps in transparency leave room for possibilities that have yet to be explored or disclosed. Despite the lack of a single explanation, certain overlaps between cases are real and noteworthy. Several individuals were connected to institutions such as Los Alamos National Laboratory or defense-related research networks. Monica Reza and William McCaslin, in particular, shared indirect professional links through advanced propulsion and Air Force research structures. There are also behavioral similarities that stand out. Multiple individuals disappeared while outdoors and without their phones or tracking devices, a detail that has drawn repeated attention. While these overlaps may be coincidental, they are significant enough to sustain ongoing interest and concern. It is within these overlaps and gaps in information that conspiracy theories have flourished. One-line speculation suggests that the possibility of foreign intelligence agencies targeting individuals connected to sensitive technologies. While such concerns are not inherently implausible, no evidence has been presented to confirm such activity in these cases. Another layer involves claims related to unidentified aerial phenomena and alleged classified programs. These theories often cite McCaslin's name appearing in leaked communication and attempt to leak it to a broader narrative of secrecy. However, these claims largely originate from non-official sources and remain unverified. Social media has amplified these ideas by presenting cases as interconnected, often ignoring key differences or confirmed explanations. This created a perception of coordinated pattern that does not fully align with the available evidence. The most grounded interpretation for this is not one unified mystery, but several overlapping stories. 4 cases remain genuinely unresolved and deserve continued investigation, particularly given their connection to sensitive fields and high security clearance. At the same time, other cases have clear explanations that do not support the idea of a broader pattern. What emerges is a fragmented narrative shaped as much by unanswered questions as by speculation. The absence of definitive answers in some cases ensures that this story will remain open, but the evidence so far points towards complexity rather than conspiracy. So, like I said, I just wanted to, bring some attention to this. Maybe you guys will look into it. Maybe you'll find something interesting about it. I'm going to do maybe a little bit more into it. Maybe I'll dive into each one, or maybe get into a little more of the aerospace thing. Let me do some research so I'm not buried in my computer the whole time. But I'm trying to set this up so it at least looks like I'm closer to looking at you guys while I'm trying to read and go through this. Sorry about the yawns and the breath takes. Like I said, I've been up all day. I worked fucking 12 hours, and then I came home, and this is my second or third episode tonight. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for dealing with me. Thanks for tuning in. Share, subscribe, let people know. And if this, or anything interests you, anything you want me to look into, or anything you want to deep dive into, or is there something that interests you, just let me know. Send a comment, send an email, shout it out, let me know. I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you guys next time.